Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night. The fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld, and we're up to number 54. And again, all the recordings are available on menachembernfeld.com. On the top left, you can get all the recordings. But most of you, I understand, are on the journey with me for a while. But if you're a newcomer, you can always pick up. When you have time, go back and get the picture. Basically what we're looking for, what's everybody looking for? To come back home, come back to themselves, to feel a little bit the peace, the feeling of I'm okay, I don't have to run, I don't have to change the world, change everything around me for me to be okay. There's the external world and there's the internal world. Most people are busy with the external world, everything outside, what's going on outside of them. But the main thing is really to go inside, to see what's inside of me, how do I feel about myself? Because usually that's where the answers are. So tonight's question, what we posted is, do you feel seen? And basically, it's going to be a continuation of what we discussed last week, the 4 S's that your child needs. And then we discussed everybody of us have an inner child inside of us. So it doesn't always mean your child. It could mean that child inside of us, how to relate to ourselves with the 4 S's. But before we start, let's take a moment and come into the room. We're all very busy, coming from a day of whatever you're busy with. Let's take a deep breath, take a moment to relax and become aware. Become aware of where am I? Look around the room where you're sitting. You might be listening to the recording and driving. Just become aware. Just look at the car in front of you. Or if you're sitting in your house, relaxing. And then turn inwards. How do I feel inside? What does my body feel? What do I feel? Might be nervous, stressed. Might have that feeling of, I don't have time, I have to keep on going. And many people aren't here now because they're too busy. But if you're here, so first of all, thank yourself for giving yourself some time off to just be, to stop for a few moments. We live sometimes in a rat race, running and running and running. Days and weeks and months, so much going on. To take a few moments of your day to just take a deep breath and relax. Relax your body and then become aware of what's going on in your mind. Because many times your body could be relaxed. It looks like it's relaxed sitting on the couch, but stressed because there's so many thoughts going on. So take a deep breath. Feel your head, feel it relax. If there's any tingling, your shoulders, your hands, your stomach. If there's any tension, just breathe into that part and let it all out. You can let it out with the voo sound, voo, which helps the vibration. Or any sound coming out. All the way down to your feet, your legs, your toes. Beautiful. So now, hopefully you feel the difference, feel a little bit relaxed. So let's discuss what it means to feel seen. So last week, we discussed the 4 S's. Let's see if you remember them. You can put them in the chat. The first one was safe. For a child to feel safe, to be in a safe environment, safe physically and emotionally, not to be scared the whole time of, am I doing the right thing? Are people looking at me? To feel no threats. The second one was to feel seen, to be able to attune to the child's internal mental state, to be able to connect, to understand their mental state, to understand their inner life, and then to respond in an effective manner, which we'll discuss more in a minute. Number three is soothed. The child should feel soothed through to when the child's in a state of internal stress, throwing a tantrum. So you would love to stop them in the moment, say, stop it right now. But to be able to sit there and be there wherever they are, so they can feel, the adult soothes them to wait till they calm down, and eventually they learn how to do it themselves. And the fourth one is secure, which basically is a result of all three. If a child has these, if the parents are attuned, the child feels secure with what's going on and with himself, in a secure state, more relaxed. And really what we're looking for is, as adults, to be able to feel that feeling wherever you are, to feel secure. Nobody's after you. You're okay. You're doing a great job. You're doing good. But we don't always feel that. Sometimes we're criticized. Sometimes it could be our own thoughts telling ourselves that we're not doing a great job. People are looking. It could be many times not true, but if it's a thought, that's how you feel. So the second S was to feel seen. Question is, what does it mean to feel seen? So feeling seen is a deeper feeling. It's a deep feeling, an inner feeling. And it's important to realize it's an emotion. To be able to be seen by others, and eventually also to be seen by yourself as the adult. But to be seen and the way you feel. Like we mentioned, to be in touch with how you feel. It could be coming from your environment, or it could be coming from your own thoughts. But again, if this is how you feel, then it's true. Again, even if it's not true really, but this is how you feel, then the feeling is true. It's always very important to remember to be able to validate. So that feeling of I'm important, I am needed, I am valued, to feel part of, to feel that you deserve. All of these feelings is a feeling that you have inside of you in whichever environment you are, whether it's at home, at work, socially, to feel that you are, and then people enjoy, people like your interaction, whether if it's at work, you're doing a good job getting things done. So imagine yourself, if you take a moment and think, where in your life do you feel more seen than others? Now, it could be one place you feel more and one place less. It doesn't mean always the same feelings. So it could be at home. They appreciate, you feel seen, you feel part of, but at work, it could be you don't feel it, or vice versa. So if we can take a moment, take a deep breath and think, where do you feel a little bit threatened? Where do you feel that people don't see you for who you are? It could be by a meeting, you don't speak up. Maybe you tried the first few times, but they didn't listen. So you made a decision to just listen, be quiet. And many times this happens when we're very young. Like we discussed, childhood emotional neglect, right? They could be very young, whether it's from parents, teachers, friends. You tried saying an opinion, tried saying how you feel, and they brushed it off or didn't listen. And when we're very young, we can't make sense out of it. We don't understand. So subconsciously, we just pick up that the best idea is to just be quiet. Just listen, just observe. Because if you're going to say something that just... So that's called not feeling seen. And then eventually they lose that sense of self. Because who am I anyways? So let me just look what's going on. Let me just observe and do what I need to do based on the environment, because I don't want to be connected to who I am. I don't know who I am, or maybe I am not, because based on some interactions that I had, whether it's parents, teachers, or friends, social environment, they didn't listen. They didn't look at me the way I am. So it's easier for me to just be quiet and listen. So it's important to stop and try to see where you feel that feelings. And one important piece is that many times people feel a feeling of loneliness. Even people who, when they're outside, socially, it looks like they're doing great. It could be they're the spark by the party and having a good time. But the question is, when they come home, when the day is over, finish keeping themselves busy on social media, it's quiet. Sometimes you can have a feeling of loneliness, it's a deep feeling of, I don't feel part of. That feeling comes up, and we try to not feel it. So, that's what we do during the day. Sometimes we keep ourselves very busy, because if we stop to relax and breathe, that feeling can come up, that feeling of loneliness, of what am I doing, where am I going? There's an interesting, deeper feeling. For those who haven't felt it, it could be you're doing great. Could be you felt seen all your years, you feel seen now also, which is beautiful. But many times people feel it, and that is the drive, keep them on that rat race and can't stop for a few minutes and relax. Because if I do stop, right away my mind says, keep on doing things, because if not, you're worthless. So just keep on going. But why can't I take a few minutes to relax? Just breathe, I'm okay. So it's a deep feeling. It could be a feeling of worthless or loneliness. And that can be coming from not being seen. And that's why it's also very important to look around, think about people in your life. I'm sure you could think of somebody who would benefit if you go over to them to talk to them, make a phone call. Just that phone call is a feeling of somebody thinks about me. That's a feeling of being seen. So it's important to see how you feel, look around your environment, see how other people feel, make sure that other people feel seen. And it could be also even an email. I do get a lot of emails and I try to respond, but if you send somebody an email and they don't respond, sometimes you can feel, is anybody out there? Is anybody listening? Or maybe it's not important what my email. If I can send back, I hear you, I got your email, I hear you, let me get back to you. It's a feeling of, oh, he hears me. That's a feeling of being seen. So what the important part is that we can do it all to ourselves. Let's say you're stopping and observing and realizing that, yes, many times you felt that feeling of loneliness, felt a feeling of not being seen, could be when you were younger. When that feeling comes up, okay, so that's the inner child feeling that feeling. And we have to be there, us adults, be there for that inner child. So when it feels that feeling, see it. How does that work? You stop, you feel the feeling, you listen to the thought, what it's saying. Nobody needs me. I'm worthless. I'm not capable. I didn't get everything done at work. They don't appreciate me. So whatever comes up, listen to those feelings, listen to those thoughts, and validate. Validation is part of being seen. If you can validate, means whatever comes up is valid. You're not going to say, no, it's not true. What are you talking about? You're doing a great job. First, listen to that feeling, let that feeling come up, and validates. And be there, like you're being there for that child, be there for yourself. And hear it, and you tell the inner child, I hear you. I hear what you're feeling. And that's it. Don't try to change it yet. We want to train, we want to change, we want to fix. Don't fix it. Don't tell that little kid, no, it's not true. If that kid feels that way, be there, listen, and see the way they see it. To be able to go into their shoes, that's being able to feel. They should feel seen. Now we'll take it a little bit deeper. I'll share a story or two from the book that we mentioned last week. It's Parenting from the Inside Out, from Daniel Siegel, which he brings two examples or help to understand feeling seen on a deeper level, the emotional, to be able to connect emotionally with your child. So imagine your child comes into the house, comes in with a few little beetles, bugs collected in a small glass jar. And your child runs in, mommy, look what I found. Aren't they pretty? And you turn around, all you see is your house full of bugs. And you start screaming, get those creepy bugs out of here right now. So the kid protests, says, mommy didn't even see it. Look at it. You didn't even see it. Look, they're so shiny. You give a glance on them and you take your son's arm, you march to the door and you remind him, bugs live outside and need to stay outside. So let's take a moment. How did the child feel when he came in with these bugs? So excited, loves it. It's so interesting, wants to share that emotion that he has, wants to share with his mother. And what was his mother's reaction? Whatever it was, the feeling that he gets is something is wrong. They're not connecting. Let me read just a little bit from the book so we could understand what is the right way. So here we go. In this situation, the child's emotional experience was totally missed. His joy and delight were not shared, and he probably had some confusion about the meaning and value of his experience. He felt good and excited about his discovery and came in to share this feeling with his mother. Instead, he was responded to as if he was bad. A meaningful emotional connection would have given value to his experience, and the parent would have shared in the child's excitement and discovery. It doesn't mean you have to live with bugs in your house. It just means that it is important to attune to or resonate with the emotional experience inside the child before changing the external behavior. I know you want the bugs out of it, but first to be able to connect to that emotional feeling that the child has. Attuning to your child's emotion can mean getting down on his level, having an open and receptive demeanor, looking at what he has brought to show you, and expressing curiosity, enthusiasm in your tone of voice. Don't get excited, your regular tone of voice. Let me see, wow, they're colorful little beetles, aren't they? Thank you for showing them to me. Where did you find them? I think they'll be happiest living outside. Not only would this have supported the parent's relationship to the child, but also because the child would have experienced that his ideas and emotions were of value to his parents. He would have felt a stronger sense of himself. He would have felt much better with himself because that feeling that he came in with enthusiasm was shared with his mother, versus when he comes in all excited, the mother says right away, go out, take it out. So something doesn't, they don't connect. So that's important to be able to see, how do I feel when my child comes into the house with bugs? So become aware of how you feel, because that's going to react. If you don't want to react, first become aware of how you feel. Then be able to put yourself in that child's shoe. What does that child feel? Look how happy and excited he is to share. Don't take it away from him. Don't do that because subconsciously you're saying the feeling you're feeling is wrong. So we have to connect to the child's emotions. And really the only way to do that is first to be able to see how you feel. What are your emotions? What buttons is he pressing? So that once you become aware of that, you could say, wait, stop. Let me first connect on the child's level. And then say, I think it's a good idea if you leave them on the porch, because they would love to live outside. That's one story. Here's another story. Here we go. Mary observed this interaction between a young girl and a student teacher on the school playground. Sarah was a very tentative 4.5-year-old who was socially and physically cautious and was very hesitant to try new experiences. The teachers had worked carefully to build her confidence by providing learning opportunities that she could master with support and encouragement. So you have this kid who is careful, not taking any risks. Teachers try to help her, give her the encouragement. It was the spring semester and Sarah was just beginning to challenge herself. In the playground, there was a large tree that had fallen over many years before and had been left as a natural bridge spanning 10 feet of the yard. The children loved to walk across the log. Doing so was a great accomplishment. Sarah, however, had never ventured to attempt walking on it until one day, in mid-May, she felt confident. She stepped onto the log and completed her journey to the other ends. Now, a student teacher had been watching her, and as soon as Sarah stepped over the end of the log, the young woman exploded with cheers and applause. She was so excited about Sarah's accomplishment. Yay, hooray, you're terrific. You're the greatest. She's screaming loudly, jumping around, waving her arms with excitement. Sarah looked at the teacher shyly and, standing rigidly, managed a faint smile. For weeks afterwards, Sarah avoided the log, and it took a great deal for encouragement for her to try it again. So now, before we continue, you see the difference between how the child felt and how this teacher felt. When this child came off the log, the teacher was so excited. So the question is, what is the right way to respond? So certainly the student teacher was positive towards Sarah's accomplishment, but she missed attuning to Sarah's experience. Her response reflected her own pride and excitement and was not about Sarah's experience of mustering her courage and taking a great risk. So we realized she was jumping from joy because she felt that joy inside of her. So what could the teacher have said that would have nurtured the emerging self-confidence that Sarah was exhibiting? How could she have encouraged her in a way that would have been respectful of Sarah's experience? So here we go. If the teacher could have reflected what she saw Sarah accomplish in a warm and caring way, Sarah could have been herself reflected in the teacher's response. She would be able to see in herself. The teacher might have said, Sarah, I watched you carefully put one foot in front of the other, and you walked all the way across to the other side. You did it. It was a little scary since it was your first time, but you kept going. Good for you. You're really learning to trust your body. So can you all see the difference between the reaction of when the teacher responded based on how she felt, how the teacher felt, so excited, versus when you can come down, think for a moment, how does this child feel? Scared, nervous, and finally doing it. And if you happen to see, you come up and say, wow, I actually saw you were able to put one step in front of another, and you're talking her language. It wasn't easy, but you did it anyways. You're talking her language. So that's called being seen on their language. So that's the important piece over here, to be able to feel seen, whether it's your child and whether it's yourself. If you feel sometimes certain feelings that you don't like, you as an adult understand why you're feeling it, so you can feel seen yourself. We could slowly heal. We can slowly heal ourselves. Let's say we did lack that feeling seen when we were younger. But now that we're older, we understand it. We can be there for ourselves. So that's it for tonight. And even though most of you cameras are off, but I feel that you're all here, and I feel seen by you coming, listening, and hopefully you feel seen. You have any questions, you can always send it to coachmenachem@gmail.com. I hope to be able to respond to Menachem. And try to see yourself, to feel seen, and look around your environment, friends, people who you haven't spoken to. Just saying good morning to someone is like, wow. Make a phone call. Oh, wow, just how are you? What's going on? That's making a person feel seen, which is so, so important for younger kids and for younger adults, for older adults, for all of us to feel that feeling, so that you don't feel so lonely. You can give yourself the positive affirmations and tell yourself, I'm doing a great job. I am okay. I'm good. I can stay here for a few minutes. I don't have to run. I don't have to keep on running. I'm important. I am needed. I am valued. I deserve. And keep on going. Thank you very much. We'll take a few questions. You can put the questions in the chat. Beautiful question. What happens if the negative voices overpower? Yes, that will probably happen, especially if you're in the beginning of this journey. Negative voices are usually much louder than the positive voices. So even though logically we might know and we might tell ourselves we have to work on telling ourselves we're okay and we're good, but it's a feeling that we're looking for. So one of the ideas we have to make that positive voice a little bit louder. One of the ways is with positive affirmations. And start telling it to yourself, even though in the beginning you might not believe it. And you have those inner voices saying it's not true, you're just making yourself feel better, and it's worthless. But keep on going. Wake up in the morning, wow, I am seen in Hashem's eyes. I am important. That's why I'm here. And slowly, with the positive affirmation, you can slowly feel more relaxed and do what you need to do from a positive state. Somebody mentioned that they see it when they come home. When they come home from work, the father usually wants to be enthusiastic and hope everybody is excited, feels good, so you can come home all excited. And one of his kids, it's too much for them. They're more like relaxed, and it takes time. Oh, Tati is home now, has to figure it out. Takes a few minutes. But if the father comes right away and says, "Okay, let's go, let's do the homework." Well, what do you learn in Chayda? Like, whoa. So you have to be able to see that child, to see him. Where is he? He's in more relaxed states. Okay, so let's go there. How are you? That's it. What's going on? And slowly you can merge. He can understand what you feel, you can understand what he feels, and you can interact. So the truth is that by every relationship, you have to be aware of how you feel and how they feel. Instead of thinking that if I feel excited, then everybody around me should feel excited. I'm in a good mood. So why isn't everybody in a good mood? It doesn't always work that way. And if you're not in a good mood, usually we feel it that way. If you're not in a good mood, somebody comes into the room more excited, it could help. But if they come over to you too tough, too strong, they're like, wait, give me my space. Give me my space. It's hard to connect. How does one deal with the feeling of loneliness? So in 2 minutes, to understand the feeling of loneliness is not always, or usually not, something from your external. It's an internal feeling. And it's based on your thoughts, like we discussed tonight. You can have the thought that nobody needs me. I'm not doing a great job at work. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody, all of these thoughts will make you feel lonely. So if we become aware that it's a thought, slowly we can change those thoughts. You say, wait a second, why not? I'm doing a great job. I'm good at what I do. And I'm needed. I have friends. I have family. Things are working out. So you could talk back to those thoughts. But the first step is when you feel the loneliness, the first step is to feel it. Don't run away from it. Don't be scared of it. It doesn't bite. It does feel very icky, but it's an emotion. And we have to learn how to feel emotions. For all of you who have been with us on this journey, we want to feel emotions because then we're alive. If we don't feel emotions, then it's a straight line, doing every day the same thing without ups and downs. It looks great, robotic, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the excitement. But for excitement is an emotion. If you're ready to feel excitement, you have to be ready to feel the downs because there's ups and downs, like we discussed many times. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank yourself for taking a few minutes of the week to relax, to calm down, to stop. And the Mitzvah Hashem, we'll see you next week, Wednesday. Have a good night and a good week.